Hello, my name is Amarjot Singh. I'm back with the topic of my interest, which is immigration all the time. That's what I read. Um, I got a call from a client whose father was denied for the visa because there was some information missing in the application form that he filled, or maybe he forgot to write the right information, or he unknowingly misrepresented some information. And it just makes me angry on why a lot of travel agents and people who are not knowledgeable in immigration law, they are filling applications for people without a license, and they are doing a mistake, which is screwing up the immigration future of people who genuinely want to get a visa to visit Canada. So in this case, the father is applying for a visitor visa, and somebody filled the application form in India. And when they ask you questions like, have you ever traveled to some other country, or have you ever been refused for some other country, including Canada? The travel agents, they think they are smartest people on earth. They said, oh, don't worry, just write no. How would the Canada government come to know? So the father was refused for US, I think 2 or 3 years ago. This travel agent who was filling the application form for them, they wrote no, and the Canadian government, they found out. Many people don't know that Canadian government and the U.S. government work in tight partnership to exchange information about all applications. So they will come to know sooner or later that you lied and then you did not tell us the truth, and then they will ban you for 5 years. This is called misrepresentation, and this is what I wanted people to be aware, that if you hide information, anything related to your documents or your previous passport, your previous visa, or previous even education that you had, a previous experience, or birth certificate, or marriage certificate, or anything, or police certificate, if you make any document, like a factual, mistake on what the facts are, then you will be charged for misrepresentation. You are liable to be charged for misrepresentation. And the penalty is, of course, yes, many people know that it's 5 years. That means for 5 years, you are banned. You cannot apply for any non-immigrant or any immigrant visa. Of course, if you are already a permanent resident in Canada, they can cancel your permanent residence, make you inadmissible, and deport you. Even if you are a citizen, if you have become a permanent resident through some fraud, and then later on you become a citizen of Canada, they can strip away your citizenship and then make you a permanent resident again, or maybe they can take even your permanent resident if that was the misrepresentation was the basis of your PR, and they can charge you for the crime, and of course they can remove you. So it is a very serious thing. I feel pity for the child of that applicant in India who got the letter that according to Section A41, you've been charged for misrepresentation, and that's it, you are screwed. So some travel agents and some so-called consultants who have no knowledge about the application, who have no true intentions for the applicant, they are giving all kind of bogus advice and writing whatever they want. But ultimately, the principal applicant, the applicant who's filing, they are signing for it. But so not the travel agent. You'll be suffering. I wanted to give you some few examples of what are the likely sources of misrepresentation that people, due to ignorance, they don't know. So, for example, if they ask you, have you applied for a visa to Canada before, or some other country, or have you been refused, you better tell them the truth. If you lie or hide information, that will constitute misrepresentation. If you had a criminal charge or criminal conviction, or some of the infringement in your background, if you fail to tell them, that will constitute misrepresentation. If you hide the existence of some family members, for example, if they ask you how many brothers and sisters do you have, I remember some people say, "Oh, I don't know where my brother is. I think he's illegal in Italy. So why should I tell them here?" I mean, I think this causes embarrassment, and they hid the name of the brother who they know was somewhere hiding in Italy. So that constitutes misrepresentation. They will be barred again for 5 years. If they were issued previously a removal order in Canada, or they require authorization to return to Canada, and that was hidden in the future application, that also is misrepresentation. If you misrepresent some family members' relationship, for example, some people I remember there was a guy who got the permanent immigrant visa and he was about to go to Canada after 1 or 2 months. So one of the family relatives say, "Oh, why don't you take my this son who's well, make him your son?" And so that was his nephew. So make him your son and take him to Canada. And so that was caught eventually at the border, and then he was deported back. Age, you cannot lie about the age also of the family member. Sometimes people think, oh, my son is hardly 23, so he's crossed out 22, which is the age of dependence. So let's make it from 23 to 22, and they change the date of birth on the certificate. So that is also a misrepresentation. If you attach an education certificate, which is like somebody might think that if you have a gap in study visa, maybe to fill the gap, you add a diploma or certificate or something, whatever, just to fill in the gap. That will constitute a misrepresentation. There are many examples of misrepresentation. What I'm about to emphasize is that you have to be truthful and completely honest with the immigration in all applications. If you think you are smart, if you change around some information, I think you will be sorry. You will be charged for misrep, banned for 5 years, or even worse, actually, even after that, you will lose any special consideration for your case, and I think you'll be facing a tough time. All right, so that's all I wanted to say. So I hope you stay safe. Don't hire uh, any unlicensed professionals who do not know anything about immigration law. If you don't know anything, you should go and read the website of the immigration, or talk to a lawyer who is licensed and who is knowledgeable in that area. All right. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you later. Thank you.